Hello, and thank you for joining me in this video as we look at setting up a professional no reply message for your business. Now over here, we simply want to set up something like that. All we have to do is to go to Exchange, because that is where we set up anything email related. And from here, once we have Exchange open, we'll go ahead and set this up as a shared mailbox. So all we have to do from the mailbox area is to go ahead and click on add a shared mailbox. And once we have that, we can give this a name. So let's say this is going to be operations. And with that in place, we'll go ahead and say our email address is going to be no reply at, and then we point it to the rightful domain name. And with that in place, we'll go and click on create to create that particular shared mailbox. Now, if this is going to be for maybe your HR department, or maybe you are a small organization that simply has to give access to every user within your environment, then you can go ahead and select the various users who would need access to this particular mailbox. So in this case, I'll go ahead and click on add users to this shared mailbox, and I will just go and pick up the admin user for this particular environment. So in that case, it's going to be admin. Let's quickly see. There we go. Select that user, click on save. Now you can add as many users as you see fit for your environment. And once that is done, you now have to go to the next step, which is setting up the rule that would govern how that particular mailbox is actually treated within your Exchange environment. So if we go to Mailflow, you'd see that we have rules over here. We'll click on rules, and from here we simply want to go and create a new rule. So say add new rule, and then we click on create a new rule over there, and we can give it a name again. So let's maintain the same name as operations over there. And this is where we've got to be careful now. So this rule applies to, we're going to say the sender, or in fact we have to put this in line with the recipient, because we are targeting what happens when that particular no reply email mailbox receives an email. So let's say the recipient, and in this particular scenario, our recipient is that particular email. So go ahead and say, is this person? And who is that person? It's the no reply at whatever your particular domain name is. So there it is, no reply at 3ny and so on. And once we have that particular email in place, we'll go ahead and click on save. So we are simply saying, if any email comes to this recipient, this person, and specified over there with that particular email address, let the following happen. So what happens in that case? We simply want to go ahead and block the message. We don't want the message to come in. There are quite a number of options provided over here, such as redirecting the message to a different recipient, or adding another recipient, or forwarding, etc. We just do not want to actually receive anything. So we want to block that. However, we also want to make sure that we notify the sender that, hey, this particular email address that you've actually sent your email to is not being monitored. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So we want to reject the message and include an explanation, or we can reject the message and have an enhanced status code, or simply reject without notifying. So we want to actually notify the sender. So our message over here is, this email is not monitored. So we want to go ahead and simply inform you that this email, or this mailbox rather, depending on how you simply want to phrase it within your environment, is not monitored. So once we have that in place, go ahead and click on save. And once we have saved that, we can also add other rules if we wanted to. You can see we have options that are provided over here, and we can add additional rules if we simply wanted to. But for this particular demonstration, that's sufficient. To go ahead and click on next. And over here, we can also verify the various settings. When we want to actually enforce this, do we want to run a test of this policy, etc. That's something that we simply can leave out for now, and go ahead and click on next. And we can do a quick review of what we have set up, just to see that everything looks good. In this case, everything looks perfect. We have the target email address, we have our message over there, and everything looks good. So go ahead and click on finish. So once you have actually finished setting up the rule, and it's associated with the rightful email address, you're actually in a very good position to just let this flow. So it is already set up. However, one important thing to actually take note of is that every time you set up a rule within Exchange, that rule does not get to be enabled by default. So you'd see quickly over here, if we click on done, okay, we've got our rule. Let's go ahead and quickly search for it. So that was under operations, press enter. We should see our rule over there, operations, and you can see that it's disabled. So all we have to do is to select that radio button, and then we can go ahead and just enable this particular rule. So there we have it enabled. All right, so this looks good, and we are now confident that this can actually begin rolling out. So with that in place, quickly refresh that and see if it actually changes over here. Oh, it still says disabled. Okay, just gonna go ahead and change that again. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. Okay, so now it is enabled. You can also see it from there, so we can go ahead and close that over there. So this is actually good. We've got this rule enabled within our environment. Now, for us to actually go ahead and set this up and test it out, we can go back to the admin center, and from our admin center, we can go to Outlook. So let's quickly see here. If I go back to Outlook, and from Outlook, I can go and set up an email. Let's quickly go ahead and see one more thing. We actually might want to access it from here. Now, this is my admin account. If I wanted to have that no reply email show up in here because I want to be using it to send out emails, I can also do so. So how do we do that? We go to File, and from File, we can go to Settings, and from Settings, we can go to Account. And from here, we have Shared with Me, and we can actually begin looking at what we have. So that was no reply. So let's quickly check it if we have it over here. So no reply is our target email. So let's go ahead and just try to see if we can find it over here. Click on Continue, and we should have it added in this particular area. Okay, so there we go. So we can click on Close over here, and we can see that we have the permission to send and read all the folders in this particular mailbox. So that looks good. And if you wanted to remove it, there's the option to do so. But let's quickly close this, and over here we should see it being listed somewhere. There we go. So no reply is now available, and we can see anything that is sent to this particular mailbox. Now we want to go ahead and click on New Mail, and here we're going to target this to the target email address that we want to actually block, and just type something over here. Let's say hello world over there, and then we can say hello. Okay, and see if we can actually get through. So we are sending an email to a mailbox that is actually blocked. And here, there we go. So we can actually see that over here. We actually get a quick response informing us that this particular mailbox is actually blocked and it's not being monitored. And if we went over here to the actual mailbox, we actually can see that we do not have anything that has been sent to it. If we expand it over here, and we can see mailboxes over here, nothing has actually been sent to these, but the sender in this case has been notified that this particular mailbox is not monitored within our organization or business. And that, my friend, becomes very important. It becomes an efficient way of making sure that the campaigns that you send out, or anything that you're actually sending out in your organization where you do not need users or recipients to reply to that particular mailbox, can actually be handled in such a smart way. Thanks for now. I'll see you in the next one.